I'm home early because my presentation to the Portland Planning Commission finished ahead of schedule. A rare victory. The autumn rain has soaked through my navy blazer as I fumble with my keys, already planning the hot shower that will chase the chill from my bones. Strange sounds filter through the door of my apartment. Laughter. Movement. Music I don't recognize playing softly. My keys freeze mid-air. Ethan shouldn't be home until 7. He texted an hour ago about a client meeting running late. Something cold slithers down my spine as I push the door open. Our apartment feels different. The air hangs heavy with unfamiliar perfume floral. Expensive. Familiar in a way that makes my stomach tighten. Wedding invitations scatter across the coffee table. Cream-colored paper with gold lettering announcing our ceremony. Just 10 weeks away. Then I hear it, a woman's laugh from our bedroom. Not just any laugh. Lila's laugh. My feet carry me down the hallway before my brain fully processes what's happening. The bedroom door stands slightly ajar, and warm light spills onto the hardwood floor. My hand trembles on the door frame as I push it open. Time fractures. Ethan and Lila freeze mid-motion in our bed, my bed. Sheets tangled around them like guilty snakes. My fiancé's face drains of color, mouth opening in shock. But my sister, her reaction cuts deepest. Lila smiles. A small, triumphant smile that contains years of competition I never acknowledged. Gianna, Ethan stammers, pulling the sheet higher. You're home early. The diamond engagement ring catches light on my finger. 10 years together reduced to this tableau of betrayal. Gigi, Lila says, using the childhood nickname I've always hated. She makes no move to cover herself, shoulders bare and defiant. This isn't how we wanted you to find out. Find out what? My voice comes from somewhere far away, eerily calm. Ethan scrambles from the bed, grabbing his pants. It just happened, Guy. It wasn't planned. We never meant to. To what, sleep together in our bed? Or get caught doing it? Lila rises slowly, wrapping the sheet around herself with theatrical grace. Some people just fit better together, Gigi. You must have felt it that you and Ethan were never quite right. The weight of their betrayal presses against my chest, but something else rises alongside it, a strange, weightless clarity. I've been here before. Not this exact scenario, but this feeling of being supplanted by Lila, of watching something that should have been mine slip through my fingers into her waiting hands. Christmas 1998. Dad bought one special doll that year, the one with real auburn hair and green eyes that all the girls wanted. I found it hidden in his closet weeks before. On Christmas morning, somehow it had Lila's name on it. Gianna doesn't mind. She's too old for dolls anyway, Mom had said. I was 11. Lila was 6. High school graduation. My valedictorian speech cut short because Lila, a freshman, was performing a dance number that needed extra time. You understand, dear. Your sister needs this spotlight, Mom explained. Cornell acceptance. Don't make such a fuss, Gianna. You're embarrassing your sister when she didn't get into any of her reach schools. A lifetime of stepping aside, of making room, of swallowing disappointment until it calcified into resignation. Grandmother Eleanor's voice whispers from memory. You don't have to shout, dear. Just wait for the truth to speak for you. She'd said this while Lila threw a tantrum over dessert, while my parents rushed to soothe her. Eleanor's weathered hand had squeezed mine under the table. Patience reveals character, Gianna. Always remember that. Ethan approaches, hands outstretched. Babe, we need to talk about this. It was a mistake. Was it? I ask, my voice steadier than I feel. How long? His eyes dart to Lila, who shrugs with practiced indifference. 3 months, she answers for him. But emotional for longer. We didn't plan it. 3 months. During our wedding planning, during family dinners where they sat across from each other while I finalized caterers and florists. Gianna, Ethan pleads, it doesn't have to end like this. We can work through. There's nothing to discuss. The words come out with surprising firmness. My fingers find the engagement ring platinum band, 2-carat diamond that once belonged to Ethan's grandmother. I slide it off and place it on the nightstand with a soft click that somehow echoes louder than if I'd slammed it down. Confusion crosses Lila's face, the first crack in her performance. She expected tears, screaming, a scene she could control, and later recount as evidence of my instability. My calmness unsettles her more than rage ever could. Gianna, don't be hasty. She starts, that familiar coaxing tone she uses on our parents. Family should talk these things through. We are not family. I look between them. Not anymore. Ethan lunges forward, grabbing my arm. Guy, please, let me explain. I pull away, my voice level. There's nothing to explain. You can have him, Lila. I deserve better than both of you. The truth of those words hits me as I speak them. I do deserve better. I always have. I turn and walk out, past the scattered wedding invitations, past the life I thought I was building. The door closes softly behind me. No drama, no shouting. Just the sound of truth, finally speaking for itself. I stare at the envelope on my kitchen counter. Pristine ivory cardstock with gold embossing catching the morning light. 3 months since I walked away from Ethan and Lila, and now an elegant dagger slipped between my ribs with perfect penmanship. Inside, the wedding invitation announces their ceremony at St. Helena's Cathedral. 6 weeks from now. The handwritten note tucked inside twists deeper. You should come, Gigi. Family supports family, come see what real love looks like. Said it. My coffee turns bitter in my mouth. The audacity, the calculated cruelty. The buzzer rings, startling me. The mail carrier has left a thick manila envelope credit card statements I'd requested after noticing discrepancies. I tear it open, scanning the pages with growing horror. Cash advances at casinos. Online gambling sites. Luxury purchases I never saw. Page after page of transactions I never authorized, spanning back nearly 2 years. The total makes my stomach lurch. $260,000. $250,000 in gambling debt hidden behind Ethan's reassurances about investment opportunities. My phone pings with an email alert. Another credit card statement from an account I never opened. Then another, and another. 4 accounts, all bearing my name and social security number, all maxed out. My name, my credit, my future. I sink to the floor, papers scattered around me. This isn't just betrayal. This is methodical destruction. At work the next day, whispers follow me through Hayes and Partners, the architecture firm my grandmother founded, where I've spent the last 8 years proving myself despite my family name. 2 junior associates fall silent when I approach the conference room. Their glances slide away too quickly. What? I demand, patience fraying. They exchange uncomfortable looks before Melissa speaks. We heard you're having financial troubles, that you might be leaving the firm. From who? Your father mentioned something to the Henderson client about restructuring the team due to your personal situation. The knife twists again. Not just Ethan and Lila, my own family undermining me, preemptively erasing me. My mother arrives unannounced at my apartment that evening, perfectly coiffed in her Chanel suit, pearls gleaming at her throat. Margaret Hayes, social architect of Portland, who built her life on appearances and expects her daughters to uphold the facade. Gianna, this has gone on long enough, she announces, breezing past me to inspect my living room with thinly veiled disapproval. You need to accept that Ethan and Lila are getting married. Like I accepted the fraud he committed in my name? She waves dismissively. Men make financial mistakes. That's what prenuptial agreements are for. Lila will protect herself. And who protected me? The question hangs between us. The Hayes family needs to present a united front. She straightens a picture frame with manicured fingers. Your father has investors watching closely. The firm can't afford any scandal. What does that mean? Her sigh carries decades of practiced patience. Charles had to take some loans against the firm's holdings. Nothing unusual, just business. But appearances matter. Gianna, $600,000 of debt could destroy your father's legacy if investors pull out over family drama. My grandmother's legacy, I think. Not his. But the amount stuns me. The firm is in trouble, and I'm being asked to smile at my sister's wedding to help cover it up. I'll consider it. I lie, simply to end the conversation. After she leaves, I pour a glass of wine and stare at the skyline outside my window. What would grandmother Eleanor do? She built Hayes and Partners from nothing, the first woman-owned architecture firm in the state. She never backed down from a challenge. My phone rings. Unknown number. Miss Hayes, James Carver here. I was your grandmother's attorney. The name sparks recognition. Mr. Carver, I remember you from the funeral. I need to speak with you, privately. Could you come to my office tomorrow? Curiosity overrides caution. Yes. Later that day, Carver's office sits in a converted Victorian in the West Hills, all dark wood and brass fixtures. He's older than I remembered, well into his 70s now, with a shock of white hair and eyes sharp with intelligence. "Your grandmother left specific instructions," he explains, pulling a thick folder from his safe, "to be executed 3 months after any significant change in your personal circumstances." "You mean Ethan?" "Among other things." He slides documents across the desk. Eleanor Hayes was a remarkable woman, very strategic, very patient. The papers reveal a truth so unexpected I almost can't comprehend it. Grandmother Eleanor systematically acquired controlling interest in Hayes and Partners through a series of holding trusts, 82% ownership, to be exact, worth approximately $9.4 million, and she left it all to me. "There are conditions," Carver says, tapping a paragraph with his pen. "The heir must be free of significant debt, have no history of fraud, and demonstrate fiscal responsibility." The implications hit me like thunder. Lila's marriage to Ethan would automatically disqualify her from inheritance. Carver nods. "As would your father's unauthorized loans. Your grandmother was quite specific about protecting her legacy from those who might mismanage it." I sit back, mind racing. All these years of being overlooked, of stepping aside, all while Eleanor quietly positioned me as her successor. Why didn't she tell me? Carver's smile is gentle. "She believed some truths needed to reveal themselves at the right moment. She left you this." He hands me a sealed envelope with my name in Eleanor's elegant script. Inside, a single note card bears her final message. "Justice needs no noise, Gianna, just timing and truth." Over the following days, the landscape shifts. Rachel, my best friend since college, brings takeout and righteous indignation. "You absolutely cannot attend that wedding," she insists, chopsticks stabbing the air for emphasis. "It's psychological warfare." "I'm considering it." Rachel nearly chokes on her pad thai. "Why would you put yourself through that?" I think about Eleanor's note, about timing and truth. I need to see this through. At work, subtle changes emerge. Senior board members begin consulting me on projects that would normally go through my father. 2 of them ask pointed questions about the firm's financial status that I carefully deflect. My mother appears at my office door on Friday, eyes frosty. "I need to speak with you privately." In the conference room, she places an envelope on the table. $15,000, if you stay away from the wedding. I stare at her, genuinely shocked. "You're bribing me?" "I'm compensating you for your discretion. Lila deserves her perfect day." "And what do I deserve, Mother?" Her expression hardens. "Your father said to remind you to think of the family business. Your future depends on its survival." I slide the envelope back. "I'll be at the wedding." That night, I file a police report about the identity theft. I gather bank statements, legal documents, board communications. I think of my grandmother, patiently acquiring power while others underestimated her. I make a reservation at Dior for a consultation. White seems appropriate. Justice needs no noise, just timing and truth. And I'm finally ready for both. A week later, I scroll through Lila's Instagram with a detachment that surprises me. Her latest post shows her laughing in a bridal boutique, champagne flute in hand. The caption reads, "Some women plan weddings their whole lives. Others just can't stand to see happiness bloom where they've sown bitterness. Bride thoughts. Jealousy sucks. Moving on." The comments flood with support. Distant cousins and college friends I barely know condemning me without saying my name. My thumb hovers over the screen before I close the app and set my phone face down on my desk at Hayes and Partners. My office phone rings. "Margaret." "Gianna, we need to discuss the wedding guest list," my mother says without preamble. "I've removed the Hendersons and the Clarks. They've always been more your friends than family friends, and given the awkwardness, Lila feels it would be best. The Hendersons who've known me since kindergarten. The Clarks who helped me through my first architecture internship. They've already received invitations." I remind her. "Yes, well, I've called to explain the situation, that you're having some difficulty processing things." My spine stiffens. "What exactly did you tell them, Mother?" "Only that you've been unstable since the incident. That perhaps attending might trigger another episode." as if finding my fiancé with my sister qualifies as a mental break rather than a betrayal. There was no episode, I say, keeping my voice measured. Your father thinks otherwise. He mentioned to the board yesterday that you've been erratic, emotionally compromised. They're concerned about your ability to handle the Westridge project. The Westridge project. My design. My vision. My chance to prove my worth beyond the Hayes name. Dad has no right to discuss my work with the board, I say, heat rising in my voice. He's trying to protect you, Gianna. And the firm, Ethan called him, concerned about some of your recent behavior. The drive-bys at their apartment, the late-night calls. My blood runs cold. What? I haven't. We're worried about you, darling. This fixation isn't healthy. The realization crashes over me like ice water. They're building a narrative, making me the unstable one. The jealous spinster who can't accept her sister's happiness. I have a meeting, I say and hang up. That same day, James Carver's office sits in a converted Victorian 3 blocks from the firm. The waiting room smells of leather and lemon furniture polish, old money and discretion. His secretary, who must be pushing 80 herself, nods me toward his door. Gianna? James rises when I enter, his arthritic hand extended. I've been meaning to call you. There's been a development. The worry in my chest tightens. The inheritance? No, that's secure. But your grandmother left more than money in shares. He shuffles to an antique filing cabinet and withdraws a thick folder. Eleanor anticipated. Complications. She kept meticulous records of your professional contributions to the firm. Designs attributed to Charles that were actually yours. Projects where you were sidelined despite being the lead architect. He spreads the papers across his desk. Proof of my talent. My worth. Documentation of each time I was overlooked, undervalued, erased. She believed in you, Gianna, more than you know. A sob catches in my throat, but I swallow it back. They're saying I'm unstable, that I'm stalking Lila and Ethan, creating a narrative to discredit me. James nods gravely. Not unexpected, but we have something they don't. He taps the folders. Truth. And speaking of truth, Thomason and Wells called. They've seen your Westridge designs. They want to discuss bringing you on as partner. An outside offer. Validation beyond the family firm. I can't leave Hayes and Partners. No, James agrees. You need to claim it. But knowing you have options gives you leverage. Later that evening, I find myself in Eleanor's study. Dad long ago claimed her office at the firm, but her home workspace remains untouched. Her journals line one wall, leather-bound and organized by year. I pull one from 1978. Her handwriting flows across the page, elegant and assured. Charles brought Margaret to dinner. Pretty girl, ambitious in the wrong ways. She sees the firm as a stepping stone rather than a legacy. Reminds me of my sister Vivian, all charm and calculation. They'll marry, I suspect. I can only hope he develops better judgment before he inherits. I flip forward, finding entries about my birth, about Lila, about the gradual transfer of power to Charles despite his concerning financial decisions, about her quiet acquisition of controlling interest through holding companies and trusts. Gianna sketched her first building today. Not childish scribbles, but true spatial understanding. She sees structure where others see empty space. Charles dismissed it, of course. But I recognize the gift. It skips generations sometimes. Tears blur my vision. I'd had an ally all along, one who saw me clearly. Weeks later, the family dinner a week before the wedding unfolds like a choreographed disaster. Crystal and silver on white linen. Mom's best china. The pretense of normalcy. Ethan sits beside Lila, his arm draped possessively over her chair. Dad discusses the latest clients. Mom fusses with the flowers. The perfect family portrait with me as the awkward appendage. Gianna? Lila says, setting down her wine glass with deliberate care. I've been meaning to ask. Will you be bringing anyone to the wedding? I've left your invitation open for a +1. A pointed reminder of my solitude, of what she took. I'll be attending alone, I answer, cutting a piece of salmon. You always did prefer your own company, she says with manufactured sympathy. Even as children, remember? While I had sleepovers, you'd be alone in your room with those building blocks. Legos, Dad corrects absently. She was good with them. Creative. Just a shame she's never been good with people. Lila continues, voice honeyed with false concern. Is that why, Gigi? Why you've always been jealous of what I have? The friends? The attention? Now Ethan. The table falls silent. Mom's fork pauses midway to her mouth. I set down my napkin and meet my sister's gaze steadily. I've always known exactly who you are, Lila. I say quietly. I've watched you take and take, mistaking acquisition for achievement. I never envied that emptiness. Her face flushes red. Mom jumps in quickly. Gianna, that's enough. This is supposed to be a celebration. I stand surprisingly steady. I believe I'll skip dessert. I'll see you at the wedding. The night before I leave, Rachel comes over with takeout and helps me organize the final documents. Police reports confirming the identity theft. Bank statements showing the fraudulent credit cards. Board signatures supporting leadership change. Are you sure about this? Rachel asks, sealing the last envelope. I nod, running my fingers over the smooth surface of the mahogany box Eleanor left me, the perfect size for holding truth. What will you wear? She asks, changing subjects. White Dior. I answer, the one with the structured shoulders. Rachel's eyebrow lifts. Bold choice for a wedding you're not in. It's a bold day. That night, as I hang the dress on my closet door, my phone rings. Lila, don't embarrass yourself tomorrow, Gigi, she says without greeting. Show up if you must, but remember everyone's there for us. No one wants your drama. I glance at the mahogany box on my nightstand, Eleanor's photograph beside it, her knowing eyes a silent witness to what's coming. I only plan to honor the truth. I tell her and hang up. For the first time in my life, I feel completely certain. Tomorrow, justice will need no noise. The next day, Street Helena's cathedral pulses with 180 heartbeats. I arrive at precisely 2 p.m., my timing as deliberate as every other aspect of this day. The pristine white Dior dress I've chosen isn't a bridal gown, but its elegant lines and immaculate tailoring command attention. A ripple of murmurs follows me like a tide as I walk through the vestibule. Aunt Vivian's pearls clatter against her chest as she clutches them in surprise. Uncle Robert nearly spills his flask. Their whispers chase me down the aisle. Is that Gianna? In white? Good Lord, what is she thinking? Margaret must be having a stroke. I don't hurry. Every step is measured, every breath controlled. This isn't emotion, it's execution. The mahogany box in my hands weighs exactly 3 pounds. I've practiced carrying it for hours to ensure my grip never wavers. My mother intercepts me before I can claim my chosen position near the front. Margaret Hayes, social architect of Portland's upper crust, wears a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. Darling, we've saved you a lovely seat in the back corner. She attempts to steer me with a firm grip on my elbow. Much more. Appropriate, don't you think? No thank you, Mother. I extract myself from her grasp. I'll sit here. Her smile freezes as I settle into the 4th pew, positioned perfectly to observe every face in the wedding party. The mahogany box rests on my lap, my hand never leaving its polished surface. Gianna, please, she hisses, leaning down. Don't make a scene. I'm simply attending my sister's wedding. Isn't that what you wanted? The cathedral doors swing open with theatrical timing as the string quartet transitions to canon in D. Lila makes her entrance 45 minutes after the invitation time, a calculated delay to ensure maximum attention. Her ivory gown billows behind her, custom Vera Wang with a train that requires 3 attendants. She's radiant, of course. Lila has never been anything less. My father stands at the altar, chest puffed with pride. As Lila reaches him, he kisses her cheek before turning to embrace Ethan with excessive warmth. The son we always wanted, Charles announces, loud enough for the first 10 rows to hear. His eyes find me briefly, challenging. I don't blink. I don't flinch. Every ounce of energy must be conserved for what's coming. The ceremony begins with unusual haste. Father Donovan skips his customary welcome speech, launching directly into the liturgy, another attempt to minimize disruption opportunities. They've prepared well. Ethan steps forward for his personalized vows. When I found true love, he says, his eyes sliding deliberately to me before returning to Lila. I realized what I'd been missing all along. Sometimes life leads you down one path only to show you where you truly belong. The guests sigh appreciatively. How romantic, how serendipitous. Nobody sees the sweat beginning to dampen his collar, or how his left foot taps arrhythmically against the altar step. I remain motionless, my breathing steady. In the fifth row, James Carver shifts slightly, our eyes meeting briefly. The 70-year-old attorney carries the weight of my grandmother's legacy in his weathered briefcase documentation that will change everything. Lila's hand trembles as she recites her vows. Twice, her eyes dart to me, searching for some reaction. My stillness unsettles her more than rage ever could. She's accustomed to provoking emotion, to manipulating responses. My composure is foreign territory. Mother's neck reddens as she glances repeatedly between us. Her fingers worry the program into accordion pleats. Father checks his phone for the third time in 20 minutes, likely waiting for updates from the emergency board meeting he called yesterday. The wedding coordinator notices the unusual tension. She whispers to her assistant, eyes narrowing as she takes in my white dress, my strategic position, the mahogany box I haven't released since entering the cathedral. I wait. Patience was Grandmother Eleanor's final lesson. Justice needs no noise, Gianna, she'd written. Just timing and truth. Father Donovan reaches the crucial moment, his voice echoing through the vaulted ceiling. If anyone knows of any reason, or just cause, why these two should not be joined in matrimony, speak now, or forever hold your peace. In films, this moment brings dramatic confessions of secret loves or scandalous affairs. In real weddings, it passes without comment, a vestigial tradition honored through silence. Not today. I rise slowly, the mahogany box held firmly in both hands. The movement alone silences the cathedral. 200 eyes turn to me. Before this marriage proceeds, I say, my voice carrying clearly without shouting, I need to present legal documents that concern both families. James stands, his authority as senior partner of Carver and Williams, lending weight to my intervention. As executor of Eleanor Hayes's estate, I can confirm these documents' authenticity. Sigh. The string quartet falters, a violin producing one discordant note, before silence claims the cathedral. Lila's complexion drains to match her gown. "What are you doing?" she gasps. Ethan takes half a step toward me before Father Donovan's hand on his arm stops him. My father's face darkens to dangerous crimson. "Gianna, sit down immediately." "No, Father." The word carries weight accumulated through decades of acquiescence. I believe everyone should understand exactly what this marriage means for Hayes and Partners before it's finalized. Mother lunges toward me, panic replacing decorum. "This is hardly the time or place." "It's precisely the time," I counter, opening the mahogany box. "After all, family supports family. Isn't that what you've always taught us?" The weight of inheritance documents feels substantial in my hands, 82% ownership of a firm worth $9.4 million, with specific conditions excluding those with debt or fraud from any claim. Grandmother's foresight becomes my armor. Father Donovan looks between us, confusion evident. Perhaps we should pause the ceremony to address this. Unexpected matter? Yes, I agree, feeling the balance of power shift like tectonic plates beneath our feet. I believe that would be wise. The wedding music stops completely, replaced by the whispered confusion of 180 witnesses to the Hayes family's most private business. For the first time in my life, I hold the floor while everyone else falls silent. For the first time, I don't step aside. Margaret charges toward me, her designer heels clicking against the cathedral's marble floor like tiny hammers. Her face contorts into the expression I've seen 1,000 times, the one reserved for when I've disappointed the family. "How dare you ruin your sister's day?" she hisses, positioning herself between me and the stunned wedding guests. "After everything we've done for you." Behind her, Lila's performance begins right on cue. Her shoulders shake with practiced sobs, mascara still perfectly intact. The bouquet of white roses trembles in her manicured hands as she turns to face the audience, her real concern. "I don't understand why she's doing this." Lila whimpers loudly enough for the back rows to hear. Charles steps forward, his face flushed beneath his silver hair. He snatches at the papers protruding from my mahogany box. "These documents are meaningless," he announces to the room. "My daughter is experiencing difficulties. We apologize for this disruption." Ethan moves toward me next, his charm switched to maximum wattage. His voice drops to a whisper that only I can hear. "Gianna, we can work something out privately. No need to make a scene." The priest shifts his weight, Bible clutched to his chest, uncertainty creating the perfect opening for family pressure. Years of training taught them exactly how to silence me. The familiar weight of shame presses against my chest. Enough, Charles barks, his CEO voice echoing through the cathedral. If you continue with this spectacle, you are no longer a Hayes. I will disown you completely. Margaret leans closer, her perfume suffocating. You're destroying this family's reputation. Is that what you want? To drag us all down with you? My gaze shifts to the congregation. Phones appear from purses and pockets, tiny black eyes recording every moment. The social pressure of 180 witnesses watching this drama unfold ripples through me. You're doing this out of jealousy, Lila accuses, her voice shrill. You couldn't stand that Ethan chose me, that he loves me more. The air in the cathedral feels too thin. My fingers tremble against the smooth wood of the box. For a terrible moment, doubt creeps in, the old doubt that has shadowed me since childhood. Who am I to challenge them? To demand justice? Ethan lunges forward suddenly, grabbing for the mahogany box. Give me those papers. James appears at my side with surprising speed for a 70-year-old man. His arm blocks Ethan's advance, protecting the evidence. That's enough, Mr. Cole. Chaos erupts in the front of the church. Guests rise from pews. The wedding party shifts uncomfortably. The photographer's camera clicks in rapid succession. My composure nearly breaks under the pressure. The familiar urge to step back, to apologize, to make peace washes over me. For a split second, I consider walking away. Grandmother Eleanor's voice whispers from memory. Justice needs no noise, Gianna, just timing and truth. I straighten my spine and hold the box tighter. Please, I say, my voice steadier than I feel. Allow Mr. Carver to explain. James steps forward, his authority silencing the murmurs. The attorney's voice carries clearly through the cathedral. Ladies and gentlemen, I am James Carver, legal representative for the estate of Eleanor Hayes, founder of Hayes & Partners Architecture. He motions toward the box. These documents legally transfer ownership of the firm and its assets to Gianna Hayes, as stipulated in Eleanor's will. Gasps ripple through the room. James continues, unperturbed. Furthermore, the inheritance contains a moral character clause that explicitly voids any claim from individuals involved in fraud or carrying substantial debt. He looks directly at Ethan. Mr. Cole's gambling debt of $260,000 and his fraud against Miss Hayes disqualify his fiancée from inheritance. Charles steps forward, face purple with rage. You have no right. Additionally, James continues over him, there is evidence that Charles Hayes has signed unauthorized loans against assets. He does not own assets that legally belong to Gianna as of Eleanor's passing last year. James lifts a manila folder from my box. I also have evidence of identity theft. Credit cards opened in Gianna's name by Mr. Cole, with statements showing purchases that funded their lifestyle. 2 security guards appear at the back of the church, summoned by James's assistant. They move steadily down the aisle toward Ethan. The police have been notified, James concludes. I open the mahogany box fully now. The board statement naming me as Eleanor's successor lies on top, signatures of every senior partner clearly visible. Behind it, financial records detail Ethan's mounting gambling debt. The evidence of fraudulent credit cards follows my identity stolen to fund their deception. The loan documents signed by Charles reveal years of financial mismanagement. And finally, Eleanor's will with its explicit moral character clause that disqualifies anyone involved in fraud from receiving her legacy. The cathedral dissolves into whispers and phone recordings. Lila's influencer reputation crumbles in real time as guests tag her in videos already spreading across social media. Ethan backs toward the exit, the security guards flanking him. Mr. Cole? Officers would like to speak with you this afternoon, one says firmly. Board members rise from their seats, stern faces turned toward Charles. His social circle, the country club friends, he spent decades cultivating, turn away in embarrassment. Margaret reaches for her phone, but it's too late. The damage is done. I close the mahogany box with a soft click that echoes in the sudden quiet. For a moment, I stand alone at the altar, the place where Lila expected to triumph today. A whispered title spreads through the crowd. Bride's sister stops wedding, with $9.4 million legal bombshell. Phones record my path as I walk calmly down the aisle alone. No shouting follows me. No dramatic accusations. There is only the sound of truth, finally speaking for itself. Outside, Rachel waits beside her car, door already open. Her smile contains no pity, only pride. "Ready?" she asks simply. I slide into the passenger seat, the mahogany box secure in my lap. Through the windshield, I watch the cathedral grow smaller as we pull away, along with the family that never truly saw me. "Yes," I answer. I'm ready for what comes next. Monday morning sunlight streams through the windows of Hayes & Partners, bathing the boardroom in gold. 10 faces turn toward me as I enter, their expressions a mix of respect and curiosity. The heavy mahogany table remains, but everything else has changed since I took over 6 months ago. The vote is unanimous, James announces, his voice carrying the same steady assurance it held when he first revealed my grandmother's plans. Gianna Hayes is officially appointed Chief Executive Officer of Hayes & Partners, effective immediately. The $45 million redevelopment contract sits before me, its pages crisp and ready for my signature, not Charles's signature. Mine. "Your vision for modernizing the firm has impressed everyone," says Teresa, the senior board member who once feared change. "The Portland Gateway project will define our future." I sign my name with the Mont Blanc pen grandmother Eleanor used for 30 years. The firm bears little resemblance to what it was under Charles's leadership. Gone are the dark wood panels and heavy draperies. Light now floods every corner. Glass partitions allow ideas to flow between departments. Only my grandmother's portrait remains, watching over us all from its place of honor. 6 months later, I stand in what was once her office, and is now mine. This same room where I was routinely overlooked as a child has become my sanctuary. How many times did I sit in that corner chair while the adults talked around me, through me, about me, but never to me? I run my fingers across the cherrywood desk, tracing the same groove she used to tap when deep in thought. The middle drawer slides open with familiar resistance. Inside lies a sealed envelope I hadn't noticed before, cream-colored paper with my name in her precise handwriting. "Justice needs no noise, Gianna, just timing and truth." The note flutters in my hand, her final message, waiting for me to be ready to receive it. The victory I once craved watching my family squirm, seeing recognition in their eyes, has mellowed into something quieter and more lasting. I no longer need their approval to know my worth. Last week, I declined a lunch invitation from Margaret without offering excuses or alternatives. "No, that doesn't work for me," I said simply, feeling no obligation to soften the refusal. The old Gianna would have rearranged her entire schedule rather than disappoint. Reports filter in about my family's new reality. Charles and Margaret sold their Lake Oswego home to cover restitution payments. Lila works at a coffee shop downtown while taking business classes at Portland Community College. Ethan faces 3 years for credit fraud. Their downfall brings me no pleasure, just a sense that balance has been restored. Under my leadership, the firm's reputation has rebounded. Our focus on sustainable urban housing has earned recognition from the American Institute of Architects. We create spaces that serve communities rather than monuments to ego. I've started a mentorship program for young female architects. 10 women now shadow our senior staff, learning both technical skills and ethical practice. Grandmother's wisdom deserves a wider audience than just me. "You've built something lasting," Daniel Brooks tells me over coffee. The civil engineer's quiet integrity feels refreshing after years of Ethan's calculated charm. Our conversation flows without pretense or performance. "I finally built a life on truth instead of expectations," I answer, surprising myself with the candor. Later that evening, reviewing plans for the community center project, my phone buzzes with a notification. The wedding video has reached 3 million views. For a moment, I pause, remembering how that day changed everything. Then I turn the phone face down and refocus on the future, spreading before me. Some inheritances aren't measured in money, but in the courage to stand alone.